evening. Today, we're talking about marriage, and we're talking about a topic that Jesus Christ addressed between liberals and conservatives about divorce. And so, in Matthew verse 8, the Pharisees confront Jesus basically, and they tell him, is it lawful for us to divorce our wives because of any circumstance? And Christ answers with them, and listen, this answer is actually very interesting. He says, have you not read? In the beginning, it was not so. Keyword, have you not read? And so what he does here is that he addresses their question with the word of God. If people are going to be offended, do not let them be offended by your opinion. Let them be offended by the word of God. Because obviously he had an opinion. He was a human being like you and I. He was supposed fully God and fully human. And his flesh had an opinion about it, but he did not let his flesh speak out. He referred it back to the word of God. And he said, have you not read? It was not so in the beginning. Divorce was never God's plan at all. Since the start it says clearly in verse 5, man should leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, and become one flesh before God. What God has put together, no man can put asunder. Marriage is a representative of Christ and the church. And in that relationship, we see that divorce isn't the thing, as Christ doesn't abandon us. Vice versa, we don't abandon Christ, and Christ doesn't abandon us at the slightest mistake. So why is it that if in our marriage with Christ, he doesn't abandon us, why do we think it's okay for us to abandon our partners at the slightest mishap? Do you know the divorce rate for marriages? It's over 50%, the divorce rate for marriages. Let that sink in for a second. 50% of marriages, over 50% of marriages fail. Isn't that crazy? But then you look at marriages where the partners pray actively together daily, and less than 1% of those marriages fail. That should tell you something. And that's what Christ is referring to back here. Because the Pharisees were looking for excuses to divorce their wives at the slightest mishap. They wanted to trap him in his word. And he referred back to the word, and he clearly stated to them, God did not create divorce. In front of God, once you are married to somebody, you are one flesh forever. And that's the thing that most people don't understand with marriage, is that marriage is a covenant. Marriage is a seal till the day that you die. I want you to imagine a nail going through my hands. That's what marriage is. You and your partner forever stuck together till the day you die. That's why in the vows they tell you, love them till the day that you die, through sickness, through illness, through good and bad, all these different things. Because that's what marriage is. But the Pharisees are trying to twist that and trying to say that, oh, but if I don't feel happy in my marriage, then I can divorce. And another thing about marriage, that marriage was never about your happiness. Happiness is an emotion that fades. Marriage was never about your happiness. Marriage was about the relationship that you have with God being represented to another human being. That's what marriage is about. Marriage is about your holiness, not your happiness. Marriage is about bringing more souls to Christ. It is not about the fact that since I'm unhappy in this marriage, I'm going to divorce and I'm going to switch to this marriage. And if I become unhappy in this, I can always divorce and switch. That was never the plan that God had for man. Marriage is a nail. You're stuck together. So don't listen to the world when they preach that covenant isn't okay. Covenant is the foundation of marriage. The foundation of marriage is a permanent covenant. And I keep saying this over and over again because I want you to understand how heavy and how important this is. And the second thing I want to talk about in the covenant of marriage is Christians cheating on God. You cannot be a Christian only on Sunday. You can't. That's like telling your partner, we're together but only on Sunday. But Monday to Saturday, I'm doing whatever I want. I'm going party, I'm going sleeping around, I'm going drinking. But Sunday, I'll come to your house. We can check together on Sunday. You see how wrong that sounds? But that's what most Christians do. I'm speaking to someone right now across the screen. That's what most people do with God. They put God the partner. God is only my God on Sundays. They tell God, yeah, God, Monday to Saturday, I'm gonna live life. I'm gonna be young. I'm only young once. But I will show up to church on Sunday though. Sure, I'll be hungover, but that's okay, right? Because I'll still be there. Let's be so for real now. Let's actually be so for real. If your partner did that to you, wouldn't you be fuming? Wouldn't you be sad? Wouldn't your heart be broken? So why do you think it's okay for you to repeat the same thing to God? It's simply not okay. And that's honestly all I wanted to talk about today. The covenant that you have with God in marriage. And a little side note is when you're asked certain questions, always refer back to the word. That's something I'm trying to incorporate into my own life as well, is that if people are going to be offended by my opinion, I'd rather have them be offended by the word than my opinion. Because last time I checked, Christ did not ask for my opinion. He asked me to believe in the word. He didn't ask for me to go win arguments from opinion. He asked me to convert souls with the world, with the word, I mean. So that's what I wanted to talk about painting. Anyway, have a blessed day, everybody.